Shalom. You're in what? Dinim number 8?
Dinim 8.
Dinim 8. We finished the meat series. Thank God it only took 4 classes. But I think we did good. We wrapped it up very tight. And we're now starting this class, Dinim 8. I don't know how many classes it's going to be. This is at least today. I know I'm going to be able to give over the Indian today. That's not a question. But we might want to tighten it up for clarity. It could be 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever classes. I'm trying to keep them tight. So maybe 1, 2, I don't know. But I'm just going to let you know, this is going to be the biggest thing we've done to date, the biggest Ger Torah we've ever done. This is everything. You're going to see this is everything. And the burning question is, there's a couple burning questions. The burning question is, number 1, Johnny Akum, how do we get you, number 1, out of the church? And either if you're meant for Judaism, on your way to Judaism, or if you're not meant for Judaism, how do we get you on the 7-law path? All right, we're looking at Johnny Akum here. The other question is, Johnny Akum, the rabbis are telling you you cannot learn Torah or keep Shabbos, and you're this and you're that. How do we build up Johnny Akum? And obviously, the Chiddush is always going to be Ger Torah. That's the premise of Dinim. Not because I'm pushing Ger, because Ger is a thing in Torah. We cannot deny it. We're going to see it in 2 seconds. It's always going to be the theme. It's everywhere. That's what Ger is. So, like I said, we're covering everything. But we're really concerned with Johnny Akum elevating and being plugged in to Emes. And there's distractions for Johnny Akum. Just convert Johnny Akum. Johnny Akum, just be Jewish, which is not the same as conversion. He's thinking about conversion, which is a whole different level. You're just a goy, Johnny Akum. You can't learn Torah, Johnny Akum. You can't keep Shabbos, Johnny Akum. We have all of our things that we tell Johnny Akum. We have a mission. This mission, we're going to be on it till we solve it. I'm going to Houston in 2-3 weeks, and the pearls from this series are going to be taught in Houston. So just consider yourselves laying down the groundwork. We want Johnny Akum's soul to be in a good spot. We love Johnny Akum. He's a great guy. But Johnny Akum, Kabbalistically, is challenged. He's under the klippa of Nachri. He suffers from Nachriism because every other apostate in the world wants Johnny Akum to be company. Right? Write a check for us, Johnny Akum. Go to church with us, Johnny Akum. Come to my synagogue, but don't say anything, Johnny Akum. Johnny Akum is called an exploited soul. We see it all through Tanakh. This is not new. It's like you guys ever see the meme? Some people are so poor, all they have is money, right? Type 1 on that. It's a famous meme. So Johnny Akum is so deprived, all he is a nefesh. And this is written about in Ezekiel, all through the prophets. They're like, Bob, the evil conqueror from Media, stole 3 souls. You guys ever read that verse about Bob from Media? He stole 3 souls from Israel. Type 1. So when you look at the language, souls, it's nefesh. It's never in plural. It's not nefashot. It's just nefesh. Bob stole 3 nefesh from Media. Why? Because you people are just flesh, blood, and guts. That's what the nefesh is. It's holy liquid. And that is like the underlying premise of the entire Torah, is we are holy liquid, all of us. And we get exploited by our liquid and elevated by our liquid. If I say, I love you guys, you say, well, Rabbi Katz, we love you too. You made my stomach juices flow nicely. That was a nefesh reaction. This is why the blood is a big deal. You drink bad blood, you're going to inject bad blood into your juices. If you eat good blood, the mutter allowed prescription of meat, you're doing your nefesh juices good stuff. And it works best when you talk about it in this way, because it's very much this world. right? You know, when people say you're a jerk and you feel, that doesn't feel too good, that was your nefesh that got bothered. That's why it's a physical sensation. When someone loves on you, it feels good. You got good nefesh juices going. This is why on Shabbos you eat good food. It loosens the juices in your body and it opens up your mind. It's called the extra soul. It really is that simple and low. It's very simple. So the Nachri is part of the Erev Rav. In the Erev Rav, there are Gerim who are looking to be separated from the Erev Rav to live their life free of Erev Rav conglomerate mentality. The global Erev Rav leadership of the world sees that as chattel or exploitation means. You're souls we can exploit because holy juices are equitable. If I can get you hungry, I can sell you food. If I can get you into illicit behavior, we have a whole industry for that. Whatever I do, your juices will sell you out. That's why Judaism is a very temptation juice. Mikvah, holy juice, make me holy. So it's just a very kind of grotesque way of viewing humanity. And that's why there's levels of the soul, right? You don't just deal with the juices. Meaning you say, hey, Bob, come over for a beer and some popcorn. Okay, that's great. Brotherhood's good. But you also have to talk, the ruach, and think, the neshama, and have wisdom, the chaya, and be one, the yechida. So you don't just focus on that. But there are the evil entities of the world that don't want unity. We want to divide and conquer. Wisdom is forbidden, or replacement wisdom, no chaya. Don't think, no neshama. Certainly don't talk, because if you talk, you realize I'm lying to you. So don't talk. That's the ruach. All you're left with is, before you turn off the phone, second. Okay, no more beeping. So all that's left is the nefesh. You're just juice. It is the ultimate exploitation. This is why that's what is exploited. Nobody says, hey, come to Dave's bar and think about football for 1 hour. No one exploits your thoughts. No one says, hey, come learn the wisdom of football. And it's like cheating on your wife. No one does that. The exploitation is on the nefesh. So this is what I'm saying. The nefesh of Johnny Akum, he is in trouble, ladies and gentlemen. Johnny Akum doesn't know unity. He doesn't know because he's placed in a world that rejects unity. So he has no yechida. Wisdom is denied to Johnny Akum, and they sell him fake wisdom in the nefesh experience. He's denied his thinking, right? When Johnny Akum is being exploited for his holy liquid, thoughts are not given to him. And Johnny Akum is given replacement theology, so he's never given the right words. He's given vulgar words. So Johnny Akum is trying to talk from his nefesh with words that don't work, thoughts that don't work, wisdoms that don't work, and no unity to make it work. He's just a nefesh. But he has the ability to put his soul together. Very simple. We learned about this in the Rizal class. If Johnny Akum would be let go and released into reality, he would pick up his soul very quickly. Very quickly. Now, the problem with Johnny Akum is he'll sin. Because every new soul doesn't know how to handle it. So he's going to run into problems. And that's why the Erev Rav say, see, you let Johnny Akum out for 1 day, he's doing all kind of stuff. That's why we have to take in Johnny Akum and protect him and teach him what is tshuva, what is, all these things. And part of sinning is part of life. I mean, Vilna Gaon 101, coming back in a reincarnation is just part of what happens. It's the life process. It's like saying, I'm going to give you a white shirt, and I don't want you to get any stains on it. Impossible. Impossible. If you get a white shirt, expect a stain. And the relationship with God works under those conditions. God does not expect a home run at every at-bat. And we're not dealing with the original sin either. We're talking about challenging, working on yourself, and growing the whole 9 yards. So Johnny Akum, if we're going to release him, then what we're also trying to release is the future Johnny Akum, right? We're looking about Johnny Akum a couple years from now. We have to have an infrastructure for Johnny Akum, right? Where is he going to go as he grows? So yes, it is dangerous to release Johnny Akum now, but it can't just be Johnny Akum. Johnny Akum has to be a euphemism of all of mankind. But if we don't focus on the individual as well, I mean, you don't have to, the forest and trees both have to come. So at the same time, all of the pragmatics and the antagonists of the world are saying, look, why would you let out Johnny Akum? He's going to sin. He's going to fall. There's no infrastructure. He's going to suffer and be alone. Isn't it just better to keep Johnny Akum locked up in the cage? So this is the catch-22. Evil says, lock Johnny Akum in a cage and throw away the key. The goodness of the world says, release Johnny Akum and fight like dogs to secure Johnny Akum's survival. And is this not a religious experience we all know? You know, don't you do anything because you're going to get in trouble. You don't know enough. Or you say, let it go and see what happens and trust God. And I know this is what I fought as a kid in the school system. You know, they don't want you to do anything. You know, just follow the rules and just be Johnny Akum. It's safe. Johnny Akum gets a paycheck. He works 9 to 5. We'll let him get married, have some kids, and just give him football, beer, and chicken wings on Sunday, and Johnny Akum's okay. It's exploitation. And we know, how does Bilam and Balak, their wisdom, how do they exploit mankind where mankind is weak? The juices, the body juices. I mean, it's just a factory. Hey, Johnny, you're pretty thirsty in the morning. Let's get you some coffee and just put some shtusim around that coffee and just get just one big nasty experience. So we're not saying take away the liquid. We're not saying don't eat, don't drink. We're saying build on top of that. Give him elevation in his soul. Give him his coffee, but let him talk about something that matters. Then allow him to think about what matters. That greater world of called what matters, that's called Torah. And Johnny Akum's nefesh and the liquids are also in Torah. We're not saying lose the liquid. We're saying bring Johnny Akum into Torah. The opposition says Johnny Akum is just liquid, leave him alone. And that is what, I guess if we're going to introduce my fight to the world, you just met my fight. I am highly against exploitation ever since I'm a kid in high school. For those of you that are going to be in the Texas conference in a couple weeks, you're going to meet Nick Talley, my famous friend from Centerville, Ohio, and he can attest, as he did last year, who David Katz was at 17, fighting the same fight back then as I fight now. And hopefully I'm a little bit better at it now than I was then. Although that's probably debatable. Because back then I didn't have nasty Chabadniks threatening me with my life for teaching to release Johnny Akum. Because back then it was at best a detention and sit out in the hallway alone. Anyhow, so let's now go into Yevamos 48b. And we're saying about the nefesh. Now, how did I get onto that point? Yes, we're talking about Johnny Akum. He's our guy. Remember, we'll never leave Johnny Akum here. We want to know when Johnny Akum is being exploited, okay? He can go to Buddhism. He can go to Jesus, mystical Jesus, the big church with a rock band. He can go to Hinduism, backpack through India, convert to Judaism. He can be thinking about Judaism for a while. We just want to distract Johnny Akum. And he's a klippa, he's a nachri, because of what is placed upon him. He can't help it. Now, Johnny Akum's destiny is to break out of klippa. And we have to be commando mission, get Johnny Akum out of klippa. The problem is Johnny Akum is sick, and he doesn't know it, and he's going to attack you and defend his kidnappers, right? And they're going to say, Johnny Akum, you need to do this. And he's going to be militant about doing what his capture, how do you say, the captorers, whatever it is, his handlers are going to want certain things from Johnny Akum. Johnny Akum will be financially invested, emotionally invested, physically invested, mentally invested, socially invested, and Facebook invested. And we have to figure out, how do we get the maskana, the result, to Johnny Akum? Now, Johnny Akum is completely nachri. All right, technically it's called an apostate. He's rejected all truth because this is just how God made it. All right, Jews are also in a state of apostasy, and they don't know it, but that's why we're in exile. If we were not in exile, we would not be apostates. The goal is to get the Torah of Moses and stop apostasy. The Jew has a din of nachri, where he denies the Torah. So if I say ger is convert, guess what I just did? Apostasy. You can't expect perfection again. You can't be Mark McGuire and hit the home run every bat. But we're in a time where before Johnny Akum, we could be apostates and it didn't matter, right? As long as the non-Jews were in the church, then the Jew didn't have a responsibility to ger. It was just a kind of dormant issue. And there's been a lot of dormant issues. But with Johnny Akum showing up in record proportion, now it's making the Jew realize, or forced to realize, what is the reality of Johnny Akum. And we're relying on the shtetl mentality. Johnny Akum, go back to church. Johnny Akum, you should convert. And we're all kind of stepping up to bat with Johnny Akum, and we're trying to sell him our best wares. And we're being pretty successful. Whether it's the beer on football game day, whether it's the church, whether it's the new Jew Boo retreat in India, or just convert to Judaism, Johnny Akum has many, many, many options. Have you guys ever been to a supermarket in America? Anybody ever gone shopping at a supermarket in America? 1, 2, 2. A lot of options there, isn't it? If I want to buy orange juice in a supermarket, how many options do I have? How many options? 40. In Israel, I got like 2. If I want to buy potato chips in the supermarket, how many options do I have? So imagine Johnny Akum's world is a supermarket. I mean, he's got it. And look, I'm going to be at a supermarket in Houston in a couple weeks. To me, it's like Gan Eden after leaving Israel. Because here I get like Bamba, one kind of Coke, and that's about it. In America, when Rod takes me shopping, man, I'm going to pick from like 3,000 kinds of iced tea in huge gallon containers with plastic that can be practically sold for $1 million. Like really great plastic. I might take home the pitcher of plastic just so I can fill it up when I get home to Israel. Then I'm going to choose between like salmons and cream cheese and a billion kinds of bagels. It's fantastic. And it tastes good, and it's amazing. The problem is I don't live in Houston, and it's going to wear off. Because I thought about this today, or yesterday when I was walking in Jerusalem. I thought, because in Jerusalem they had pictures like waffles and sundaes when Ari and I were walking to the wall. And I thought, man, that waffle looks really good. Really, really, really good. Could I be a total heathen and live a life of just like waffle, sundae, chicken wings, beer, just live like food experience? If we're going to indulge in this world, and we all indulge a certain way, can I live off the food experience? And I realized to myself, nah, you probably couldn't. Because a guy that would live that way, it would become numb after like a week. Like after a week, it's like, yeah, another triple Sunday, blah, blah, blah. There's a website on Facebook, a group. I love looking at it. It's called The Food Beast. You guys ever watch The Food Beast? These guys are crazy. They make the funniest food. It's just like insanely grotesque, Edomite food. Right? Like a cheeseburger with nachos and jalapenos and mushrooms and 4 kinds of cheese and a can of Mountain Dew in there. And it's like, and then they microwave it, and then they cook it in batter, and it's like, hey! And as a Jew who keeps kosher, I'm like, it's like, for me, that's entertainment. I'm looking at it like, wow, this is absolute. Where was this where I was growing up, But that's the whole thing. Only because I'm Jewish does it become a taiva. But if I was not into keeping kosher, this would probably be quite repulsive. But as a Jew, I'm looking at it, it would be great like 3 times. But then it would get repulsive, right? So it's an entertainment. Johnny Akum doesn't know about kosher. All he knows is it going to be the nachos, the hamburger, all he knows is a supermarket religious experience. And American style. And there's no shortage of supply. But the bottom line is, you should not be shopping in the supermarket for that stuff. According to wisdom, and I know we're all guilty because society demands us to be guilty, but you should be making your own stuff. I guarantee you, every one of you would love it if you were able to make, in a fictitious world, you could cook your own food, and I mean really cook your own food. Make your own clothes. Do you really want the junky cotton t-shirt from Walmart? Do you really want that? Or would you like a real shirt? Like the year 1700, a real shirt. That doesn't rip, it's just real stuff. Today we don't have food, we have light food. We don't have clothes today, we have light clothes. Johnny Akum doesn't have God or religion. He has light God and religion. And we want Johnny Akum to have the real McCoy. And hopefully those of us in class here, we can say we have the real McCoy. I think we do, right? It's not the kind of thing that's impossible. You can have a real salad. If you go in your yard and grow it right, you can have real food. I just happen to be too lazy to grow real food. I'm too lazy to make my own real clothes. I don't make bread. Okay, I love homemade challah. I don't make it. I cheat and buy it from the store. But I don't have to. If I was very serious and a high priority, I would have homemade food and my whole lifestyle would be different. And I wish it would be that way, but it's not. If we are to prioritize for Johnny Akum that religion and God should be that level of homemade bread, then we have to deliver the vessels and strengths to Johnny Akum, because am I right in assuming all of us, are we making God 1A in our homemade priorities here? Am I alone? I hold God 1A. I would say I'd rather eat a McDonald's once in a while for God 1A. I just don't have the strength to do it all. As much as I'd like to. I wish everything was 1A, but I can't. I'm human. I have limitations. So what I don't do McDonald's on, I don't do God McDonald's as an ordeal. What do you guys think about that? 1 or 2? Are you guys with me on the non-God McDonald's plan? 1 or 2? Where are you guys at with me on this? You guys with me? So we believe in a non-McDonald's God, right? We want a real God, an authentic God. And I want there to be no more McDonald's. Okay. But in the meantime, God cannot be McDonald's. They call it the Vulgate, right, James? James Gusnell. The Vulgate. And we want Johnny Akum to get rid of the Vulgate lifestyle. We want Johnny Akum to have a real God experience. Because Johnny Akum could probably do his part in removing McDonald's from the world, right? Because it's all idolatry, really. McDonald's has got, I never thought about it until just now. I guarantee you, if you dig deep enough, McDonald's is idolatry. It has to be. Because if we made everybody get the Johnny Akum program elevated, McDonald's would disappear. Because Johnny Akum, he has a farm and he raises this, and this Johnny Akum has that. If global consciousness of Johnny Akum would get rid of McDonald's, I think that would be Gan Eden. Am I wrong? 1 or 2? Am I right on this? All right. So here we go. We want now, again, focus the mission. It's a question, and it's not rhetorical. We're looking for the answer. How do we get Johnny Akum to the God of Israel and a non-McDonald's God of Israel? Because everybody's selling Johnny Akum McDonald's. And we are of the Geir ideal, in the truest sense, have recognized that God is not McDonald's, and a McDonald's God is detrimental to society. Exactly. But he doesn't. But you can't just give him the taste. Because a newborn baby, if you say, even my son Reuven, if I take Reuven shopping, he will demand the most chemical-ridden, foul foods versus good food. Well, see, okay, we got two theories here. James and James each have a theory. And I'm not saying either one's bad. But James Gosnell is raising a child at home. And James Gosnell can tell you, I put the food on the spoon into the airplane. Ooh, here it comes. Take it. Ooh. You got to feed the kid. And it's not easy. I mean, my kids thought I was poisoning them for a couple of years on Shabbos because I gave them, green food, whatever it was, green beans. They're like, it's a hot pepper. Abba's going to kill us. It's a conspiracy, Zohari. And they would conspire, thinking I was really trying to kill my children. I'm like, guys, you're dorks. It's green beans. No, we saw you put a hot pepper in your food. Yes, Reuven, I did put a hot pepper in my food. I'm Abba. I like spicy food. For you, it's a green bean. So we have to get them to taste the food, but they're afraid of hot peppers. They don't know what green beans are. They don't know what good food tastes like. They want the nasty, chemical-ridden Halloween candy that kids gulp down once a year because they don't know better. They should be putting broccoli for Halloween, and kids would love it. But society won't let them. No, because the weird people will poison the food and kill the kids. That's the world we live in. But if kids knew what broccoli was, cooked well, they would love it. Okay, exactly. Putting honey on the lettuce. Very good. So here we go. That's our premise. This is my mission statement. Consider that until I come back from Texas. Make that on your minds. This is the question until Texas is over. James Rogers, please read Rabbi Hanania. Look for me to interject with you. Go ahead.
It was taught. Rabbi Hanania, son of Rabbi Simeon, B. Gamaliel, said, "Why are proselytes?"
Wait, what? Who? I know in the English it's proselytes. Guess what? Any guesses what that is in Hebrew? Any guesses what that is in Hebrew?
Ger.
Thank you. Ger.
Why are Ger at the present time oppressed and visited with afflictions?
Is the Talmud lying? Are you guys? Is it claiming that Ger today are oppressed? I never heard that. Or maybe the Talmud's on to something here. Maybe it's a formula. You try to go Ger, you will be oppressed and bothered. All right, go ahead.
Because they had not observed the 7 Noahide commandments.
All right, that's all I want to say. That, I think, is the answer. That is the answer. Because what Johnny Akum is being sold is not the Noahide laws. Noahide laws are boring. I don't want to do my 7 go to heaven. I want to be Jewish. I want to eat gefilte fish. Church and Jesus wasn't too bad. Can't we just put Jesus in a synagogue? Okay, we have all of our Johnny Akum McDonald's little answers here. Johnny Akum McDonald's can think of all the reasons we don't want to do 7. Yavama's 48b. So now, Mr. James Gosnell and I, God willing, are putting out the world's greatest book. James, are we almost? Where are we at with the book? Just so now, are we close? People are asking. All right, and it's going to be a revolutionary thing. And in that saga, as you guys know, James Gosnell deals with high-level Noahide issues, right? James type 1 on that, and they're very high level, very, very high level, which makes it, I know I'm not easy to get along with James Gosnell on that, okay, I know that, but it really gets technical. Very, 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 very technical. And it makes me very tough to be around because it's not the kind of thing like in a Hasidic thought or a Svara where I can say, yeah, hey, Eric Bryan, yeah, it's true. Bilam is kind of like the sword that turns. You're right, yeah. Yeah, Bilam's kind of the sword that turns because it works. Most of the time that works. That thinking works. It's just true. But with Talmudics, as this class of Dinim, you see there's no wiggle room. None. 0. And that's my job, to keep it tight. Otherwise, we become just a goofy McDonald's movement. I don't even, and everyone says it's best not to even call it a movement because a movement is already McDonald's. So what we have on our plate is the idea of Johnny Akum cannot learn Torah. And all the more so, he cannot keep Shabbos. A goy to keep Shabbos is chayav misa, put to death, and also if he learns Torah. Every Johnny Akum knows this. Every Johnny Akum knows that. So I'm just closing my Gemara here, and now I'm going to go to my little handouts, which you don't have because it's only in Hebrew. Okay. And I think now how I'm going to structure the rest of the class in my own mind. So since Johnny Akum cannot basically serve God, it's illegal to serve God. He's going to hear from X amount of rabbis, pretty much everyone on earth except for David Katz, that it is illegal for him to serve God. Right? Poor Johnny Akum. But Johnny Akum has a lifetime subscription of free McDonald's. Nobody will withhold McDonald's from Johnny Akum. And there's many ways of serving McDonald's to Johnny. We want Johnny to eat a great broccoli, salad, healthy, fresh cut, and prepared meal. Okay, let me see how I'm going to say this. Again, the question is, how do we get to Johnny? And the issue is the 7 laws. But we got to really, really tighten this up. Just want to think how I want to say this. 1 second. Okay. I can take it linear or non-linear, and I think usually I don't do linear, but now I want to do it linear. All right, so I can tell you my process, which I would love to do, but I think for conveying what I want to convey, it's best to keep it linear. So please help me keep it linear. Don't get me non-linear, okay? Johnny Akum. Figure Johnny Akum. We want to put Johnny Akum. He left the church a little bit ago. He's on Facebook, and basically he's taking offers from McDonald's. Type 1. You got Johnny. So he's being. I'm going to just tell the story of Torah through kind of a. Whatever you call this kind of style, this narrative, okay? I'm going to teach this Torah tonight through Johnny Akum. Just easier that way. So Johnny, and I want to use real characters. I want to make this ultra real, just to make it sting a little more. Johnny is in the Leaving Christianity group on Facebook, led by April Neforest. I'm calling people out this class, straight up. It just has to be that way. And in that group and the associate groups, they're gonna say things that are McDonald's. They're gonna say, Johnny, you don't want to do the 7 laws of Noah because 7 go to heaven's not where it's at. Our group is about, how do you say it? Thinking about converting. Right? There's a new status going around called I'm thinking about converting. So there used to be just I'm converting, and now there's I'm thinking about converting. And apparently, if you're thinking about converting, it's the same thing as I'm converting, which is totally false. I mean, this is kind of kishuf. But so that's what's going around in the Facebook world. Right? When you're around Facebook, 7 laws go to heaven, you're going to find Divine Code, Ask Noah, kind of a standard Lubavitch take. A lot of Breslov as well, the Hasidic outreach groups. Anybody who's very conservative and is against the concept that I laid down, a Chiddush Gadol. They don't want it to be a big, wow, just real, do your 7. Now, when you do your 7, I don't ever want to see you learning Torah, and if you do Shabbos, you're chayav misa. Type 1. Okay? We got our shitas here. You do your 7, go to heaven, or we kill you. Or you don't have to do the 7 at all. You can actually go into conversion, and if you don't want to convert, then it's okay to be on the fence, which is the word doubt, which is the same gematria as a Amalek, and that's a known teaching. Doubt suffix is the same as a Amalek. Not a good place to be. But people that don't know that, it's like saying, hey, eat this quadruple bacon cheeseburger loaded up on Food Beast. It's healthy. No, it's not healthy. So being on the fence is not healthy. Thinking about conversion is really not healthy. It sounds great. I would love to have a chicken cheeseburger with 4 kinds of bacon and 5 kinds of cheese, Rabbi Katz. I would. I admit it. I would love to try it, but I'm not going to. Not only from a religious standpoint, at almost 40 years old, I realize it has a heart attack waiting to happen. It's just not as good as the broccoli, and I know that now. At 20 years old, I probably didn't know that. So now, Johnny Akum, all he knows is Noahide is horrible. Conversion is where the cool kids are going. The Noahide thing is kind of like the Catholic Church. It's just very limiting and din and brimstone. And the charismatics are all about the conversion. I even know some friends. Oh, look, there's my friend Bob. So it's very attractive, and it's a little spicy, and they get excited, and woohoo, we're taking over the world. And self-promotion time, there's David Katz selling World of Gear for $28.95 on worldofgear.net. And gear is just, I don't know, you guys probably know about gear more than I do, about what it looks like. I don't even know what that looks like. Who knows? That's probably a good question. In the midst of all of that, what does the gear thing look like? I don't even know. That much I don't know.
Many colors.
For Johnny what's that?
Many colors.
Yeah. So for Johnny Akum, he's got McDonald's all around him now. And I'm going to tell you now what Johnny Akum can do. We're going to solve Johnny Akum in a Lafitte Shuto kind of style. All right, I'm going to be kind of not exactly what he's going to do, but we want to build a basis, a blueprint of Johnny Akum here, okay? Johnny Akum can really only do 7 laws. And even from a practical standpoint, he doesn't know anything. He doesn't even know what a mitzvah is. So don't tell Johnny Akum he can keep Shabbos. No, he can't. He doesn't know anything. Nothing. Conversion, because the cool kids are there. Noahide, because it reminds me of being a Catholic. And Ger is just way too weird for words. So he doesn't know. He doesn't know anything. But if a fairy godmother is going to tap a wand on Johnny Akum's nose, okay? Johnny Akum would get a revelation from God that remember, Johnny Akum was an emis guy. That's how we're drawing him up. And that's, for now on, step 1. And again, we have to refine this to get the real answer. But our Lafitte Shuto answer for Johnny Akum is emis. Everyone type emis or 1, whatever. Emis. Johnny Akum is emis. And he realizes, I'm not a Catholic. I'm not a Ger. I'm not converting. I'm keeping Sheva Mitzvot B'nai Noach. That's Johnny Akum. And he's a real Akum. He's a real Akum. A Nachri that learns Torah is like the Kohen Gadol. He's mamish in Akum. Well, wait, welcome, Johnny Akum. You made it to Akum. It was before you were just Johnny. But now that you're in Torah, we can call you Johnny Akum. Otherwise, you're just Johnny. So Johnny Akum is going to follow the Rambam. And he's going to say, man, I hope I don't steal today. Wow, I hope I don't kill anybody today. I'm going to really try to not eat the limb of the donkey. That I'm going to really try. So he's excited. He's telling his friends, man, 300 days in a row, I did not eat the leg of a donkey. I am Johnny Akum and awesome. I'm loving it. I'm beating my personal record of not killing guys every day. So he's loving it, and he's keeping it. He's wearing a T-shirt, Johnny Akum record of not killing a guy 345 days. So He's doing it, but now see what Johnny is an Akum. He is an Akum. But what happened was Johnny's emes, though, guys. He's an emistic an Akum. He's really we know he's a real ger underneath, okay? He's a ger. But he's Johnny Akum. Don't say the G word. He's Johnny Akum. And what happened was Johnny Akum, by being a real Akum, i.e. a real ger, he knows Jews. All right, Johnny Akum, the secret's out, he knows some Jews. Because every non-Jew knows Jews, and every Jew knows non-Jews. It's how the formula works. It's why Johnny Akum's emes. Torah of Shem will explain that. Johnny Akum grew up watching Star Trek, and Star Trek was written by Jews who were off the derech, and they went to Sunday school, they had Torah, they put it in Star Trek, and Johnny Akum said, the Jews have it, it's true. Jean-Luc Picard had the emes, whatever it is. By God's graces, Johnny Akum got the emes. So Johnny Akum, by his mazel, since he's ger, but he's Johnny Akum, he has mazel. And that's why he's emes. He goes with his mazel. Somehow, after 400 days of consecutive not eating the leg of a donkey, Johnny Akum realized or found something of the T word, Torah. He found the T word. And, I mean, he kind of knew he was doing mitzvahs, but, I mean, it doesn't really matter. He doesn't really know what mitzvahs are. Because Johnny Akum doesn't have to know what mitzvahs are. He just has to know that his Jewish friends said, if you keep the mitzvahs like Moses said in the Torah, you're a bona fide Noahide. And he said, that's good with me. I'll do my mitzvot. So he's cool. He's okay. But he's growing. He's getting his mochen. He's growing up. He's coming out of Klippa. He doesn't realize it, but he's growing. He's becoming more articulate. He's in Torah, and he's thinking, Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama, Chai, Yechida. And he's not embarrassed to talk about it, to show it. He's growing. And he starts coming on to Torah. He starts to realize that he has 7 mitzvot. I'm a 7 mitzvot Johnny Akum. And I'm not interested in doing any more mitzvot than 7. For whatever reason. I do 7, that's it. But now, Johnny Akum is prepared to check out Rabbi Katz's 4-class series on eating meat. You know that? And he said, that's pretty cool. I don't want to eat the leg of a donkey, Rabbi Katz. I want to hear what's going on with meat. And he listens to Rabbi Katz's class. And he finds out, wow, Rabbi Katz is going, ger, and the meat, and the blood, and the thing, and the and he comes out of it, and he did a little kind of crazy act. Don't tell anybody, but Johnny Akum went on the internet, and don't tell anybody this, but he bought Sanhedrin, the Tractate Sanhedrin. Don't tell anybody. It's our little secret. He went and bought Sanhedrin, and he's not looking at any other Talmud except for what Rabbi Katz said in the class, the Noahide stuff, 56 through 59. And Johnny Akum was saying, look, I know my rights. I'm allowed to learn about my 7 laws. A goy that learns Torah is like a Kohen Gadol. And they say, well, how can he learn Torah if he's a goy? It's usher to teach a goy Torah. If the goy learns his 7 laws, he can learn Torah on his 7 laws. And he even, James Gosnell, gets a scar reward on the 7 laws in the Torah he learns on the 7 laws. So he's doing it up. He is learning nonstop Torah of the 7 laws. I mean, this guy is going. He knows 7 laws. He's listening to Rabbi. See, but the problem is probably going to be he's listening to Rabbi Katz a little bit, so he's getting Ger Torah, right? In with the 7 laws. Now, if that happens, it'll be a faster track. That's my opinion. If it doesn't, he'll get it another way, anyways. He'll get it, he'll piece it together from his rabbi, and he'll read in a book. And our other little dirty secret is he's buying books that are allowed under what he feels is allowed. So he'll get his Ger nuggets either way, right? He's going to get his Ger nuggets. He's going to say, well, the divine code says I can learn ethics, so I can learn Pirkei Avos, ethics of the fathers, and I can learn Proverbs of Solomon. I love wisdom. I mean, by now, because the Kohen Gadol thing is bigger in mitzvahs than regular Jews, he's pretty much expanding his mind. And he knows a lot by now. It's been a couple of years for Johnny Akum. But he only does a 7. But what Johnny Akum found out is that something happened with Johnny. Because he's a man of truth. He realized that not killing people was not really doing anything. He's not really accomplishing by not killing anybody. Then he thought, I don't even like eating live donkeys that I'm aware of, not even on the food beast. And I'm happily married. I'm not really interested in adultery. And it's come to think of it, I'm not doing 7 things. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. But I'll tell you what I am doing. I'm learning Torah every day about my laws because I found out there's a lot of wisdom in the 7 laws. So I guess what you could say, I'm embarrassed to say it because I'm Johnny Akum and I come from Klippa and I'm a former Christian. But I want to say I think I'm a Torah scholar. Am I allowed to say that? I mean, I've always got like these Hebrew books I'm carrying around, and I talk about God. I'm not telling people I don't kill. I find that I'm telling people that I learn about my 7 laws in the ancient scriptures and the ancient books. And I find that I'm kind of bringing holiness into my life. I'm living a non-Klippa life. I started eating clean because I can, so I don't frequent the same places as I used to, and I don't hang out with the same people I did. A lot of my friends are Jewish and rabbis, and we talk about the wisdom of Torah as opposed to how another day I didn't kill a donkey. So by that time, Johnny Akum has 7 laws in his back pocket, type 1. In his back pocket, he's got 7 laws. Johnny Akum has Sheva Mitzvot B'nai Noach. Like, he knows what a mitzvah is. And I'm not talking like in a condescending way. I'm saying like you guys ever hear of Iker terms? You guys hear what I'm talking about with Iker terms? Like main formula terms? Johnny Akum knows he is serving HaKadosh Baruch Hu Lafi Mitzvosav. He knows now he's got das from the wisdom. He has mitzvot, avodas Hashem, and he is doing his 7. But doing the 7 is just the vernacular. It's the knowing he's doing his 7 from the Talmud Torah. So this is where we pick up from the thing I printed out today. The Rambam says in chapter 8, halachas 10 and 11, Hilchos Malachim, that he can convert to Judaism, if I read it in bad English. But the word is lihit gayer, to become ger. And it's kachem kager, like y'all like the ger. And usually that's a convert verse. And the proof text, the Rambam brings. You guys know the verse that the congregation of Jacob, and it'll be like God commanded Moses, the congregation of Jacob, and it'll be inheritance for them. And everyone says that the Torah is for the Jews. But if you read the Ramban, he brings all of our favorite Ger verses. James Gosnell, if you could post that text to that verse, that would be great. He brings all the classic Ger verses. Nilva, Addo from South Africa, the Nilva, right? He brings the house of Jacob, Isaiah 14:1. He brings Isaiah 56:3. There's no way these are converts. So Ramban is saying that the Ger can learn Torah of Moses alongside Israel for the sake of being the house of Jacob. The only one that has a problem is the Rambam. Everybody's saying Ger exists in that verse. But because of the Rambam, people now have to decide, is it non-Jewish Ger or convert Ger? And until, as crazy as it sounds, Rabbi David Katz, everyone assumed it was convert Ger. Why it came down to me, God only knows. Ask Johnny Akum. Why are you guys here now and you weren't here before? I don't know. We're all here together. So that when I read this commentary, it's called Amrei Chaim. I mean, it's a classic work of just, he's cutting and pasting. If you watch my class at the wall last night, you'll understand what I mean by cutting and pasting. And he says the following. I'll find where it is. He says, what is the difference between the Torah given to Israel, Jewish people proper, and the Torah of the Ummos HaOlam, the nations? Yeah? So then he says the whole thing about the tradition and but to cut to the chase, the Torah was given to Israel. All right, full stop. James Gosnell, I want you paying attention right now. When we say the Torah was given to the Jews at Sinai, that means the Jewish people have Sinai and Torah, and the Goyim don't. Now pay attention, because this is going to work out. You need to follow the thread. Moshe Feinstein says the Goyim don't have Torah because they didn't have Torah given at Sinai. Only the Jewish people have Torah because only the Torah was given to the Jewish people at Sinai. So when we say here, the Torah was given to Israel by the mouth of God, James Gosnell, think Feinstein, type 1. And this is what I've acquired for myself, that Hashem gave the Torah by himself from his mouth. Okay? There's something called Jews, type 1. Umamela, anyways, the Torah was given to Jews with commentary and rationale and secrets and traditions. So the Jewish people, the reason why they're commanded in the Mitzvot is because they were given rabbinics to explain the Mitzvot, carve them out. What does the Ten Commandments show? Carving out the mitzvahs from one blah. There's really no excuse for the Jews not to do mitzvahs, right? It's carved out with commentary, words, and traditions, and rabbis. Masha Ein Kain with the nations of the world. Not the same with the nations of the world. That mitzvahs in a golem state were given to them, without commentary and reasons and secrets and traditions. That since that it was as if not from God himself, i.e. the rabbinics of the Torah, it's given the mitzvahs in a golem state, meaning the nations of the world were given mitzvot. But they don't know it. Because the Torah was given to Israel at Sinai, but not to the nations. Now, where Moshe Feinstein is, pardon my French, wrong in how we apply it, not in what he said, but how we apply it, he said the nations were not given Torah. Jewish people's mitzvahs are through Torah. But he said the nations received mitzvahs, but not Torah. So here's the logical question, James Gosnell. Were the nations then given the mitzvot? type 1. What they're missing is Torah to identify the mitzvahs. It's like the mitzvahs are in a basement with a light off, and no one gave the nations light. Unless you say the Jewish people are like the nations, who were given the Torah at Sinai. So now, the commentator says that how is, what the Rambam said, we'll go back to, the convert thing. He says like this. Find it. Yeah. Go back to the congregation of Jacob, right, the whole thing. Therefore, and the Rambam says, all who want to heat gayer from all the nations, kachem kager. James Gosnell, pay attention. Therefore, he says, umakoro mitanchuma. The source of the Rambam is Tanchuma. Now, I'm going to go away from that. Just keep that in the front of your mind. Which we need to say, why is learning Torah worse than the rest of the 613 mitzvahs? Rambam Mary. That Gerim are obligated. He says the Gerim are obligated in the mitzvahs. Now, think about that. The Goyim are commanded, are obligated in mitzvahs. We're in the commentary here. We're referencing the Rambam. Let me say this. So the issue is the nations were given the mitzvahs and they're obligated in them, which is different language than commanded in them. And a ger can learn Torah, but why is he not commanded Torah in his commandments or given the obligation of Torah? Why isn't Johnny Akum raised in Dayton, Ohio with commandments? So Johnny Akum doesn't have Torah, but he has commandments. So he's stuck. Like the 10 Commandments before they were carved out. While there's Jews with Torah and mitzvahs and the commentaries being like the nations, God willing. So James Gosnell, remember we said Tanchuma? Type 1. But there's another version, and I'll tell you what Tanchuma is in a minute. In Bava Kama 38, a Nachri who learns Torah is like a Kohen Gadol. Johnny Akum was a man of truth, and he got on the 7, and he started learning Torah because a goy that learns Torah is like a Kohen Gadol type 1. When Johnny grew up a little more, he said, hey, isn't there another version of the story of the Kohen Gadol? There's Johnny Akum who learns Torah like a Kohen Gadol, and I'm a goy. But I learned Torah now, and I came across Midrash Tanchuma, James Gosnell. And Midrash Tanchuma says, let's open up Midrash Tanchuma. Midrash Tanchuma says, before I read our Midrash Tanchuma, what I posted that you're supposed to remind me, James Gosnell, it says, it quotes the Rambam. James, we pay attention. It quotes the Rambam. It says, we're not Mekablin Gerim today. And even if they do the whole Torah outside of one little thing wrong, we're not Mekablin Gerim. Go away, Gerim. By the Midrash Tanchuma, which the Rambam partially brings, says that God says, even if the ger does this, We are to love the ger and not taunt the ger. So you can say we reject gerim because we're not makablin. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, hey, Neanderthals, did you not read what it says? Love the ger and don't taunt the ger. I, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, always accept the ger. It's interesting because God is saying, I know you're going to follow the Rambam. And what did the Rambam do? He said, hey, I'm the Rambam. What can I do? I'm the Rambam. And we said, thanks, Rambam. And God says, even when you're going to follow that Rambam, do not think it means kick him out. Because we don't taunt the ger. We give them garment and bread. So now, as I'm struggling to find my Midrash Tanchuma, which I was supposed to have a bookmark that I forgot to replace, I will have to quote it from memory. It's in Midrash Tanchuma. It's supposed to be in Vayikra. So where is that? Vayikra. You know what? I got the wrong book. It's right here. Why did I do that? Why did I do that? Wait. Yeah, here it is. Okay. There we go. Here it is. Where is it? Okay. Vayikahel, Midrash Tanchuma, Siman Ches is talking about the congregation of Jacob verse. To all who congregate with Jacob, even the Gerim that are busy with Torah, they're equal like the Kohen Gadol. And it brings the verse from Vayikra 18:5. And James Gosnell, what is the proof of these Gerim? The Kenites, offspring of Jethro, who sat in the Sanhedrin, who spawned the Rechabites, the greatest Gerim who ever lived, Mamish. And Shmai and Naphtalian came from those Gerim. And you say, well, how can a non-Jew teach Jews Torah? Because a ger can teach a Jew Torah, because as long as the Torah returns to Israel, who cares how it got there? What we don't want is Akum teaching Torah and bringing it into the church. So a ger can be a religious teacher, Torah teacher, as long as it's directed back to Israel. This is the congregation of Jacob. So now there's something James Gosnell called Tanchuma, and there's something called Bava Kama. Moshe Feinstein said Goyim don't have the Sinai. They don't have Torah. They don't have the covenant. Only the Jews. And therefore, a Goy that learns Torah is like a Kohen Gadol. He starts to learn Torah, and then he realizes, my name is not Johnny Akum anymore. My name is Johnny Ger, because I follow Tanchuma, because I'm a Ger who learns Torah like the Kohen Gadol. And I, Johnny Ger, will tell you that the Rambam, chapter 8, halachos 10 and 11, Kachem Kager is converts Lafi Pshuto. What it really is Ger of, what is it, James? Dvarim, the Ramban, the congregation of Jacob, whatever that is. And therefore, Rambam's Ger is Midrash Tanchuma. The Ger who learns Torah like a Kohen Gadol, as I mentioned in the last couple of weeks, Ger and not Goy. Ger and not Goy. So Johnny Akum started with the truth. We got to figure out how to get the truth. 7 laws to avoid suffering. He did not eat the leg of a donkey for a long time. He learned about it, tasted Torah, became Johnny Ger. Now the Rambam, Hilchos Malachim, chapter 10, halacha 9, and Akum that learns Torah or keeps Shabbos are killed. Johnny Akum doesn't belong there. It's Johnny Ger, Hilchos Malachim 10:10. He's learning Torah the right way. And guess how a non-Jew can keep Shabbos? Only if they're learning Torah. So only the Akum who had no Torah to learn, how's he keeping Shabbos with no Torah? It's just a ridiculous thing. It's like telling Reuven, me in the house, I'm going to go away for a week. Yeah, Reuven will get right on that. But if he's learning Torah, now he has what to do on Shabbos. Krisis 9a. So the Rambam's 10.9 is Johnny Akum. And when Johnny Akum becomes Johnny Ger, Ben Noach and Ger Toishiv, it's Hilchos Malachim 10.10. So now Johnny Ger has Torah, and guess what he sees? He's like swimming. He says, I have mitzvahs. Look, God gave me all the mitzvahs, but I don't have all the Torah. If I want to do all the mitzvahs right now that I can convert. I mean, you just kind of do the mitzvahs hanging around with Jews. I mean, Torah is just with Israel. But what if I want to let the mitzvahs be in the dark, and I want to find the light on the mitzvahs from my Torah, kind of like tying tzitzis. I tied my own tzitzis for the first time a couple months ago. I did horrible. And I really would like to buy them from the store. But you know what I did? I like tying my own tzitzis now. Didn't we say we're getting rid of McDonald's? Buying your own stuff from the store is McDonald's. Making it, we said, is not McDonald's. Conversion is kind of McDonald's. It's saying, look, McDonald's never killed anybody. And they're right. It's not a crime to eat at McDonald's. But there are some people who want to cook for themselves. We don't make them eat at McDonald's. They learn Torah the best they can to discover the mitzvahs that they have to do. But they're not commanded and does. They only have to do them. Look, I have to be up tomorrow at a certain hour. But am I commanded? No. I just have to. And if I don't, it's going to be hard on myself. But if I get to the point where Dinim class, 9 o'clock on Thursday, that's a commandment now. I am now commanded to be here. You guys demand me to be here, I have to be here. There's no determined time I have to be at the supermarket tomorrow. I go when I want to go. I just know I got to go. But I might be wrong. It might be there really is a time to go. Like, you know, all the good challahs are gone by 9 a.m. David Katz, you better get there for 9 a.m. So Johnny Ger makes his own bread. He's that guy. He doesn't eat McDonald's. Not when it comes to his mitzvahs and Torah. So now he prescribes the Rambam 10.10, James Gosnell, and he gets the schar on the mitzvah that he is properly doing like the law. Because he learned the Torah of it. And he already had to do the mitzvahs. Johnny Akum, who accidentally did a mitzvah, not according to Torah, what can he do? He accidentally did a perfect mitzvah. There's a lot of things I've done accidentally right. One time, I was entering a building, and there was a woman going in the door. I accidentally held the door open for her. I didn't want to. I accidentally did it. She said, well, thank you. You're such a mensch. Okay. I was a chivalrous man for like 5 seconds, once in my life. It does not make me a gentleman. I cannot now walk around saying, I am a gentleman. But if I learned about it, and I learned how to do it, and I now hold the door open for women, and I am quite a gentleman, I can say, I learned the wisdom of how to be a gentleman. I'm a gentleman. What are you going to tell me? I'm not a gentleman? I'm a pretend gentleman? No. Pretend is called McDonald's. If you McDonald's the gentleman, you're a McDonald's. But if you're not McDonald's, guess what? It's not Lafitte Pshuto anymore. You're not McDonald's. We cannot tell people they're eating McDonald's when they're not eating McDonald's. At some point, you have to assume a person has proficiency and a wisdom, and it's not McDonald's. Like Reuven, my kid, at some point, I'm going to lose the right to say you're spoiling your dinner. Okay? At some point, that argument goes out the window. I can't use that argument when he's 35. Don't eat that. You're going to spoil your dinner. Sorry, you lose. He's now a 35-year-old man. You can't say he's a little boy. And people grow unless you... I'll tell you how you don't grow. If a man doesn't want to be a man, I can tell you how he can get out of it. Anybody want to try me? I can prove to you that a 16-year-old young man can never become a man. Anybody know the answer? Life will let him literally evade life. Anybody know the answer? He can get a sex change. That's why they're promoting sex changes now. He can now go through women issues. The best that he believes he is. So a person who wants to do his mitzvot that he has to do, but he doesn't want to do the Torah to get there, he wants McDonald's mitzvot, can convert. Go ahead. Convert. Never had to learn the wisdom of it. Just go through the motions. But not everybody wants to do that drastic change. It's drastic, just like a sex change. Not that I would know. Therefore, we see that in Tanakh history, the real Gerus is Ger non-Jew. As we see here, the real Rambam Ger is Ger Tanchuma, not the Lafib Shuto Ger of Bava Kama. That a non-Jew, a Nachri, who's in conversion, remains a Nachri until he converts. But if he doesn't convert, then he was always a Nachri. He does not get grandfathered into Ger. A Goy Nachri that learns Torah is like a Kohen Gadol. So I think now we can conclude today's class, and we have a very nice understanding. Any questions, particularly from those that this was directed towards? This was an aimed class today. I think we achieved all levels here. I think we actually covered it in one class. James Gosnell, are you satisfied? That Rav Moshe Feinstein was speaking about Johnny Akum, who does not have Torah of Sinai. Once he becomes Johnny Ger, he has Sinai and Torah Dafka. Dafka. So therefore, he gets schar for his mitzvahs, and it's mitzvah v'osei. It's not mitzvah v'osei when the Torah was not quite there. So Johnny Akum starts with the 7 laws and ends. Anything more McDonald's than that will not work for Johnny Akum. It's not going to work. If he goes anywhere McDonald's, it's not working. The Talmud 48b of Amos says 7 laws. There's no escaping it. Even if you're going to convert, there's no escaping it. Because one type of ger is a convert. Can we clarify McDonald's is low mitzvah v'osei? Low. Yes, we can conclude that. Not the whole way. It's one aspect. It's one aspect. And that you have the right, you, James Gosnell, have the right to not eat McDonald's if you don't want to. You have the right to be spiritually healthy and make your own bread. Take your mitzvahs through Torah rather than conversion or deny your mitzvah. Or settle for accidentally doing mitzvahs. And you are rewarded when you eat healthy food. It's a natural principle of life. And if we take that right and make our own bread through Torah, is that, yes, it is. By definition, the Rambam says you do it like it's law. So now, our task that I want to give the talk in the Tiv, and I want you guys working with me on this. We have to assume everybody is emes, okay? Everyone's got emes. The only question is how much Nachri McDonald's klipa do they have on them? The mission statement. How do you get Johnny Akum to stop eating McDonald's and help him cook real food and want to cook real food, i.e. take on the 7 laws? Because he doesn't know Torah yet, so Torah is not the answer. He only knows Torah once he gets into his laws. And the only reason why he's not doing the 7 laws is because McDonald's is really good. Because you're offering him all kind of cool stuff that he believes he's going to get, like socialism. He's not getting it. He's never going to get it. Okay, Michael Jordan's tennis shoes do not make you jump higher. McDonald's does not look as like a juicy hamburger as the picture. That's exactly right. They don't get it. They want McDonald's. McDonald's is what we're selling. And it's got to stop. On every level, it has to stop. The world cannot endure McDonald's. I know it's an easy answer, McDonald's. Man, when you're hungry, just go to McDonald's. Arby's, 5 for $5. You're full, it's good, it's easy, price is right, your friends will go. Man, seriously. But we're going to kill mankind if we continue eating McDonald's. I don't know the answer. I don't know the answer. The question is what's more important in this class. Johnny Akum just got on Facebook for the first time. And you have a 1-bullet gun. The mission statement is get Johnny Akum to dedicate his life to the 7 laws. Can I stop there? Is that a clear statement? Mission statement, Johnny Akum, the day he walks out of the church and onto Facebook, must accept the 7 laws for life. He's not born a Jew, so there's no Jewish option, lechatchila. He has one choice, accept the 7 laws for life. Thank you.